Hello everyone, on the 13th of March, Mars, or Mangala as we call him in the Vedic system, will be leaving the sign of Taurus. This is a very good thing because in Taurus, Mars has been stuck in the mud to say the least. And right up until the 10th of May, in Gemini, things get moving in everybody's life. I call this life in the fast lane, and that is no understatement because Mercury is all movement, Gemini is all agitation when Mongol Mars is there. Why? Because they are not friends to each other. So a few people are going to be left with their heads spinning in every direction during this transit. Be prepared. If you're new to my channel, don't forget to sub below. If the video is good for you, give it a thumbs up. Let's begin. So let's look at the astrology. Here's the chart where Mangala enters into the sign of Gemini on the 13th of March 23. It's quite interesting. He was last in Gemini in October for a very short time, but then it was quite complicated. At that time, he had an aspect onto Saturn, who was in Capricorn. So different this time when Mangala comes back into Gemini. He is not aspecting any planet by sight. He is not looking at any other planet, and no other planet is agitating him or with their sight aspect either. It's a bit like you are driving down a freeway in the wide open country. There's no vehicles either side of you, ahead of you. It's just quite an exhilarating feeling for some people. But mentally it can be stressful. Internally it can be stressful because Mars and Mercury, ruler of Gemini, are not friends. That's the issue. Where are you going on this journey? Well, that's the problem. There are so many choices, openings to you, that a lot of confusion could result. You see, everyone, Mars' long transit in Taurus has been quite arduous for some people, but for other people it's been quite helpful. People who don't like to make decisions have probably enjoyed just chewing things over, like the cow. Taurus is chewing the cud, you see. Many people can procrastinate a lot when there are planets in Taurus, but now Mangala's moving forward and people have to make decisions. It's a good thing, though, that Jupiter and Mars are mutually aspecting each other by Rasi aspect during this transit. So internally as well, even if you feel a bit confused, you won't make too many mistakes. Most people won't come off the road, won't have too much damage from this very short transit of Mars in Gemini. The most stress, though, comes at the very beginning of this transit, the first few days, when the dispositor Mercury is in a combustion with the Sun and aspected by Saturn. After that, it gets easier. See, everyone, Mercury, dispositor of this transit going into Pisces, is good this time. Normally he is debilitated here, of course, which would not be helpful, but Guru is there, Jupiter is there in his own sign, so it's an Ichbang Raj Yoga. Mercury is completely brought out of debilitation. Decisions become easier. Decisions become the right decisions. Finally, it's a very helpful factor. Try to avoid all those important decisions or even impulsive decisions that you may feel pushed to take in the first 3 days of this transit between 13th of March and the 16th of March. After that, Mercury will be in Pisces. Watch out when you are out and about traveling. There can be all sorts of disruptions. People are becoming impatient to get to their destination. There could even be road rage incidents because of this Mars-Mercury factor. So really calm yourself down and keep a high level of concentration if you are driving a car, riding a bike, whatever it is, riding a horse even, whatever it is, moving around, keep yourself focused on what you are doing. That's the thing for everybody, just something to be aware of. And there can be delays and disruption with air travel as well because Mars is in an air sign, Gemini. So whether it's long distance travel, short distance travel, try to keep yourself calm during your journey. Expect there will definitely be disruptions, but generally speaking, the calmer that you are, the easier will be the journey. How to use the readings. We are using a Vedic horoscope, of course, and we are reading from the Moon and Ascendant both. Both are good. If you do not have accurate Ascendant, though, Moon sign is very important and everything can be read from the Moon. Next thing, make sure you have a Vedic horoscope, not a tropical wheel. If you have a Western chart, check at the very end of my description box. Check out the website Devaguru. Bring up your Vedic horoscope. See the position of your Moon and Ascendant. Read from those. Let's begin. So when Mangala, your Lord, enters the third house, is it good for Aries? It's one of the best placements. This is excellent. Yes, it is life in the fast lane, but Aries, that's what you like. You're normally very straight talking. Now it's definitely no hesitation at all. When your Lord is in this third house, your communication becomes direct. It becomes impactful, and it's going to shift a few barriers in your life. You'll be traveling, many of you as well, locally, foreign lands, either, but you're definitely feeling restless. Please take caution on your travels, as I've just talked about at the beginning of the video. Listen to it again if you did not, especially during the first few days of the transit. But of course, Mongol is the Lord of Scorpio, your 8th house. Wherever he goes, he brings that 8th house transformation. You will be determined to turn things around in many aspects of your life, and you have the power to do so. It's a very powerful transit for you. And there's a lot to sort out. There could be some head-on confrontations, literally, with your siblings, with your neighbors, with your local neighborhood. There's so many changes happening, so many things going on for Moon Ascendant Aries. But you will be on top of all of these. You will directly get involved to solve any communication problems, any difficulty arising with either siblings or local neighborhood. It's very good for students, though, because of Mars' drishti onto the 9th house of higher education. You won't be sitting back and just listening. You'll be asking questions. You'll be making direct confrontation with teachers, mentors, etc., getting the answers you need. So for many students, it's a good thing. You can make progress on your course. It's a good transit for your health because Mars aspects 6th house of health by the 4th aspect. You take control of any health issues right away. Your energy levels go sky high and your exercise routine gets a boost. Fitness levels can be greatly improved for everybody when Mars is in your 3rd house. But if you have malefics in your 6th house or the 4th house from Mars, if you have malefics in your 9th house, watch for confrontations with teachers, mentors, father especially, and with your work colleagues. You're not beating around the bush, and there could be some tense moments. Try to calm down a little bit. Be more compromising. You've got the winning cards. Life is not a battle. It's about making relationships stronger, not winning the war. Very importantly, your Lord Mangala is aspecting by 8th aspect the 10th house of career. You will finally make those decisions about the career you've been putting off for some time. You may leave a job. You may lose a job, some of you, but you may be glad it's happened. You may basically make big changes in your work environment. Yes, there could be confrontations with the boss, though. This is the problem. You are self-employed, watch for confrontation with your competitors, 6th house, or with those who you should employ. Don't leave bad feeling behind. You are making the changes you want to make for some time. Do it in the most positive way because it's a new beginning, this transit. The Taurus, Moon and Ascendant has been quite heavy, having Mars in your Ascendant and definitely in your Moon sign. A lot of agitation, a lot of pressure on you, and you've been putting off making decisions for so long. Now Mars has gone second to your sign or Moon sign. You've got to finally say what you're going to do. You've got to finally, as they say, put your money literally where your mouth is. Excuse me, but that's the thing. You've got to actually commit now that Mars is in the 2nd house. And on some level, it's just a continuation of what's been going on since October. Why? Because the 2nd house itself is very like Taurus. In fact, it is the Taurus house in the natural zodiac. There is new information coming at you about financial matters, savings, investments, inheritance, wills, legacies. It's all coming at you and you've got to quickly make sense of it. This can actually be quite pressured for Taurus. And Mars is the Lord of your 12th house of expenses. Don't forget he's gone into the 2nd house. Expenditure can go through the roof during this time for some Taurus, Moon and Lagna. You've got to take action to stop this. You've got to do something which makes finances work for you. You just cannot hesitate anymore. Watch your food intake as well. Mars can make you a compulsive eater during this time. Eating so fast, eating on the move, it can really be not too good. But generally, it's a minor factor. But watch your speech during this time. The most important factor to remember is that Mars rules your subconscious 12th house and your 7th house, where you actually confront with other people. So When it goes into your second house, what you say is going to be remembered by people, particularly with your spouse. Be careful. It's a 6-8 relationship with the 7th house. Be careful what you say, spur of the moment, because your mind, particularly from the moon, has become agitated. You are not thinking very much, just blurting out things all through this transit. There may be some difficult moment with your children. There could be behavior which is not exactly easy to control, and you are having to control that by this aspect maybe. And it generally is a big thing for students. If you are in education, it's a very heavy time because Mars aspects 2 houses connected to learning, the 5th house and the 9th house of higher education. There may be some feeling of agitation, some insecurity around the course and your ability to complete it. Because you're feeling quite insecure with this 12th house Lord Mangala in your 2nd house, you must be very careful. Speak to your teachers, mentors, listen to what they say. They have got good advice for you. Follow it definitely if you are a student. Now, Mangala's 4th aspect on the 5th house, so can be very good if you are a creative artist, especially if you are actor, if you are singer, anything where you are performing, because 5th house is about performance. There's a lot of energy, a lot of progress can be made. Cautious about one thing though. Mars is aspecting the 8th house of stock market and the 5th house of speculation. You may be tempted to solve some of your financial problems through speculative gain. Now, I'm not saying it isn't going to pay off because you have to see your chart personally, but take advice. Mars aspects the house of advisors. If you take good advice, then you can make the right decisions. Finally, foreign travel may be difficult during this time. Mars has a 8th aspect onto the 9th house of foreign lands, and he is your 12th house lord. So traveling far and wide can be quite disruptive or challenging during this period. For Gemini ascendant and moon, particularly moon sign, Mars is going to agitate your emotions for the whole of this transit. Mangala with the moon, it's always highly agitating and your moods are going to go up and down considerably. From ascendant, Mars will make you terribly busy, very, very motivated, very impulsive, but it won't so much affect your moods. But from both moon and ascendant, Mangala is the lord of your 6th house. There will be a lot of competition in your life, a lot of stress in your work situation, especially though, watch your health. There could be sudden mishaps, etc. So take it easy, that's for sure. And any sudden health problem, deal with it immediately. Then you will sort it. That's a key. Of course, of all the signs, life in the fast lane applies to Gemini with this Mars, moon or ascendant. You're going to be rushing around doing 5 things all at once, and you've simply got to slow yourself down to make the most of the more beneficial factors in this transit. Mars rules property. He's aspecting 4th house of home property. Many of you make a sale, make a new business deal or landed interest deal very, very quickly. You can get profit from property during this period, or you can just solve long-standing domestic issue with some really prompt action during this time. If you are self-employed or a business person, Mars rules profit and he's gone into your 1st house directly, looking at the house of marketplace opportunities. Certainly sudden opportunities for profit, for gain in your business come to you, but you have to make immediate decision to actually get these. So fast action will be needed. However, if you are in business partnership, it could be a bit heavy going because Mars has an 8th aspect onto the joint financial or business partnership factor. There may be quarrels, contentions, disagreements about business decisions, and you will simply have to ride the storm. Finally, very important to understand that Mars is the lord of your 6th house of quarrels and competitors, though. There will be competitors in the marketplace as well. That's why these opportunities have to be taken so fast. Another factor is, of course, Mars is aspecting the house of spouse and relationships. Watch with your spouse, watch with your relationship, close person in your life, whoever they are, because you're going to be very egotistical, very sharp during this period. There could be a lot of quarrels, contentions, particularly about joint finances and your future together. Try to calm it down a bit. Try to be less agitated. This will help relationship tremendously. You will also take quick decisions about investments and everything to do with long-term financial factors during this time. Mostly it will be good because Mars is your actual planet of gain. Once again, bring your spouse, bring your partner along with you if it is appropriate. Problems with your in-laws are very likely to happen. You are very independent, not listening to anybody or any advice at all during this transit. For Cancer Moon, Cancer Ascendant, Mars is a good planet for you, generally a friend to your Lord the Moon. Now, in the last transit going on from October right up till now, Mars in the 11th house has been exceptionally helpful for you. Most of you would have had financial gain in some way, some availability of resources increasing, and generally you would have made much progress. I know you're going to have to use that money to clear up some debt, 6th house, and to actually deal with some very big expenses in this next transit. Have caution with your reputation. Have caution in your working life, dealing with colleagues in the workplace during this whole Mars-Gemini transit. Why? Because Mars is your 10th house lord and he's gone into the secretive 12th house. Maybe things going on in your career which are undercover, which are hidden, which are unknown to you. There's rumors abounding. You're not sure what to do. It's going to make you feel quite insecure for a short time, actually, this Mars in Gemini transit. But you need to work alone. Working on your own, working quietly, getting on with the job makes career easier during this time. Don't get involved in office politics. Whatever you do, it could all turn out very badly. You may have restless sleep during this next transit of Mars because he's in the house of the bed and he's aspecting 6th house of your health. You need a lot more sleep now. You've been very active recently. Now you need to rest. Of course, because Mangala is aspecting the 6th house of health, there will be certain health issues coming up. Get them sorted immediately. Don't procrastinate. That's the thing. When you have Mangala 12th house, you get a bit lazy about seeing to things immediately because you become confused. Get medical advice and everything will be well. Do not fear. Strange thing is for you, you may have insomnia, you may have some sleepless nights, but Mangala is the lord of your 5th house. You get knowledge, you get inspirations in your dreams even during this time. Listen carefully to those messages. In general, because of Mangala's 4th aspect onto the house of siblings, there'll be a lot of communication with siblings, but there could be confusion. There could be some worries actually about siblings, cousin, or even activity in your neighborhood. Once again, keep quiet about this. Don't try to push other people into a corner with your insecurity during this time. Try to build strong bonds with your siblings, with your cousins, with everybody. They can calm many of your fears actually during this time. One factor that becomes quite agitating for you is in your spousal or intimate relationships. Mangala is now in a 6-8 relationship. 8 houses, 2 here, 6 houses back, and actually has an 8th aspect strongly, one of his strongest aspects, onto the house of relationships. There's got to be more honesty. Some fears, some insecurities in your intimate bond are coming up during this time. Do not fear. Do not put pressure on yourself or spouse. Simply be supportive at this time. Don't become insecure. Don't let things worry you too much about relationships. You tend to bottle all your emotions up during this time, and this is what the problem is. Build trust with your spouse. It's very important. Finally, if you are in business, curtail sudden business decisions because Mangala has an 8th aspect onto the house of marketplace. Sudden opportunities may come up, but really evaluate them carefully. You're not feeling good about them in your heart, in your mind. Everything is confused. You know it's not the right time to make major business changes at this transit. For Leo Moon, Leo Ascendant, Mars is a very good planet for you because he's a great friend to your Lord the Sun. When he goes into the 11th house, he becomes very powerful to benefit you in many ways. In fact, Mars has a Yoga Karika Raj Yoga effect for you because he rules Kendra house and Trikona house as well. He rules Aries, 9th house of fortune. So Mars going into your 11th house will give you, first of all, opportunities for increase of income, for expanding network circles in a way that actually benefits you materially. It's good for job interviews, promotion, doing something completely different work-wise. Why is this? Because Mars, don't forget, is in Gemini and the dispositor is in Pisces 8th house. So you have to put the past behind you. Take a little bit of a jump onto the unknown. But this will be good for you. Be brave, Leo. You don't like a lot of change, but this job change could be good. A lot of change going on in your workplace because Mars is going to have an 8th aspect onto the 6th house during this transit. Work colleagues may be having disruption, changes happening in the workspace, but you are one of the ones who are going to definitely benefit from it. So it's very good for increase of your income, dealing with competitors. That is why interviews can be very, very good. Mars' 4th aspect on the 2nd house, your speech has enormous authority during this transit, but it's in Gemini, it's not stable, so you could say something which you regret also. Control your speech, especially watch for quarrels in your family. It's good for students. You are concentrating, you are focused, even though you are perhaps having increased social life, still you are focused on your learning. It's really good. If you have children, they could be having some issues, but generally you'll deal with them immediately. And if you are a creative person, any sort of artist in any field, you will get impetus for creative ideas and be very successful. Virgo Moon and Ascendant, Mars is not an easy planet for Virgos because he is an enemy to your Lord Mercury and also to Rahu, your co-lord. Now he's in the sign of your 10th house, which is also ruled by Mercury. This is going to be a very contentious few weeks in your career. Because Mars is the lord of your 8th house, he can give sudden difficulties in the working situation. It could be difficulties with the boss, it could be structure of your work, it could be conflict, knowing what is the right thing to do in your current job situation. Your critical, exacting, analytical nature is going into overdrive. Mangal is the lord of your 3rd house. You will be communicating very directly in your job situation. This is why you may have some run-ins with superiors. But generally, Mangala does well 10th house. So you will push forward despite the opposition. You're feeling very assertive because as Mars is 4th aspect onto your 1st house. Use this in your fitness, in your health. Get yourself into some new fitness regime. It's going to work very well during this period. Now, Mangala's 7th aspect on the 4th house means you have to make domestic changes now. If you are moving home, things will move so quickly. You'll be out of that home, in the new home, in like a split second. You're going to make domestic changes now because you have to, because you want to do them. It's good for landed interest, property deals. You will make swift progress with any of these interests and probably get a good deal of profit. And this applies to students definitely because of Mangala's aspect onto the general house of education and the actual 5th house of learning. You can't study in your current domestic setup. There needs to be changes so that you can focus on your learning. If you have children, because Mars has an 8th aspect onto this house, they may be having some issues. Speak to authority figures, though, very, very carefully, very, very exacting, and you will sort out if this is in their learning school situation. Generally, you are having powerful communication, powerful impact on everybody. Use this wisely. For Libra Moon, Libra Ascendant, watch this transit very carefully because a lot of opportunities are coming to you, but they are all not what they seem. Mars is in the sign of Mercury. Mercury is a good planet for you because Gemini is your Bhagya house, your house of good fortune. Mars is very challenging for you, definitely, and this is a house of advisors. You may get not exactly sound advice, some of you, so be careful. Listen to your inner voice during this time. Do not listen so much to other people. That's a bit tricky for you, Libra, because you like to take advice. In fact, sometimes advice might be good advice, but you don't feel right about it. That's the thing. People are coming on strong with you. Father, particularly during this time, teachers, guru maybe, mentors have got strong things to say to you and you're finding it all a little bit heavy. Take your time, listen to your inner voice, as I say. And your partner, spouse, or even business partner has lots of advice to also give you, which is making you uneasy. You're feeling highly pressured with this Mangala transit in your 9th house. However, for students, it's important because Mangala in this 9th house, things are swiftly happening on your course. There's so much information being given to you. You are left literally spinning. Your head is virtually revolving around with all that you have to take in during this transit. So Mangala in this 9th house is not good for students because you become easily stressed by too much going on, too much information. As I say, it's all very, very stressful to you. What you should do is get some time alone. Mars aspects the 12th house, getting some quiet retreat time to yourself. Calm yourself down, study privately. Don't so much listen to other people. Get yourself in order, because also Mars aspects 4th house. You need some private time to digest education. 4th house is the house of education. And the same applies to anybody of any age on any learning course during this Mangala transit 9th house. The biggest factor though is travel. Many Librans will be traveling, perhaps with spouse, perhaps with siblings, perhaps with somebody that you wanted to go to see for some time, but you'll be on the move. This may be a long planned trip for some of you, and it's definitely coming from other people's impetus because Mangala is your 7th house lord. So take it easy, take a few books to read, make sure you've got plenty of things to listen to because there's going to be disruptions in the travel during this period. Have some caution, Scorpio, Moon and Ascendant, because you're very motivated when Mars goes into the 8th house, the actual Scorpio type house of the chart. Mars is your lord, but also you should note he is the lord of your 6th house of contention. Yes, there may be sudden health issues definitely coming up because the 6th lord has gone into the 8th house, but you will deal with it immediately, and actually by sorting out this health problem, you become healthier all around. It's a powerful motivation to see to your health this Mangala 8th house transit. Stay out of workplace drama, workplace arguments, workplace contention. Mars in your 8th house being your lord, you could come out the worst in this situation, no matter how unlikely it seems. But you will get information in your workplace that could be good in the next few months because Mars has an aspect onto the house of income increase, and this could be favorable for you. You will find new ways of working which will ultimately increase income. Why? Because Mars has a full drishti onto the house of finances. Thing you must do, Scorpio, attend to your financial situation. Investments need to be looked at. Some of you wills, legacies come up now, but definitely it's about long-term savings, pension pots, all of those things, and mostly it's about paying off debt. Mangala is the lord of your 6th house of your debts. Get rid of them. Make payment schemes. Sort them out. Mangala aspect 2nd house. You get rid of so much stress when you sort out financial situations quickly and swiftly during the next few weeks. It's a time for quick business deals, which can bring you good profit long term, but there could be contention with a business partner though during this period. There's a lot on your plate for sure when you have your lord in this 8th house, but you will have quarrels or some disruption in your network circles and with your sibling. They may need you and you have to give time for them as well. Sagittarius, Moon and Lagna. Mangala going into 7th house of your chart in a Morakastana position. It's difficult. Other people are having problems and it's all coming back onto you. Maybe partner is having problems. You're feeling the stress from that. You're feeling agitated, restless during the whole of this transit. Now, Mangala's dispositor here is Mercury, very interestingly in a conjunction for most of this time with your Lord Jupiter in the 4th house. You have to make swift domestic changes in conjunction with your partner or with your business partner. It could be business related as well, business premises. So something about where you live is swiftly changing, but you don't feel quite as in control of it as you did before. Important to note, Sagittarius, Mangala is your 12th house lord. So you can get yourself into some difficult, tricky situations by over-assertion during this period, reacting to other people, really. You may get into quarrels with the boss. You may become very assertive because of Mars's aspect onto the 1st house. You're getting those itchy feet again. You want to travel. You want to do something different, but be careful about career changes now. Make sure they are long-term sustainable. That's the thing. If you're doing vigorous exercise routine, which you may be doing, and Mars is aspecting 1st house, be cautious in your general exercise because Mars makes you want to push over the edge here. Be careful. Listen to what I've said at the beginning of the video. Concentration may be not the best during this time. You could have some mishaps. You may have some quarrels, contention in the family as well during this time, but really you need to look at your financial situation. Mongol is the lord of your 12th house of expenses, and he's gone into a Morakastana position. You're not taking control of your finances, and you need to do so. Think about it carefully to stabilize financial situation. So slow and steady for Sagittarius, Moon and Ascendant. You're not in a position to take major moves, major changes now, even though you are feeling extremely restless. For Capricorn, Moon and Ascendant, Mangala is no friend really to your Lord Saturn, but he's good for you because he becomes exalted in your sign. So when he is well placed, he can act extremely well for you. And now he's in the 6th house. He likes to be here. He makes quite a lot of challenges for you, but now he's in the 6th house, particularly from your moon, by the way. This is really helpful. You are now going to get on top of many long-standing problems. All of a sudden, you'll be able to attack situations which have bothered you for some time, particularly health issues, workplace concerns, and everything to do with legal aspects or competition in your life. You're on a definite winning streak. Health issue can improve, but only with fast action. Competitors can be defeated once again, only with quick decisions. Interviews can go very, very well, but only with really precipitous action, acting really fast. And that's a problem. Capricorn, you don't like to take swift action, but you have to now. Act as quickly as you can once you see the lay of the land. Take advice because Mongol aspects 9th house. You will get good advice. You will get the best advice during this time. Sorting out health issues, legal aspects, and all aspects of competition. There will certainly be many difficulties with your work colleagues, with your network circles, because Mongol rules 11th house and he's gone 8 houses away here. So there can be difficulty dealing with work colleagues, network circles. There can be contentions with your friends, disruption in your workplace. But whatever is happening, no matter how disruptive, you will not be disturbed by it. You will sort it out to your advantage in some way. That's the very favorable factor of having Mongala in the 6th house. Take it easy when you are physically on the move, though, and that includes exercise routine. Mongala has an 8th aspect onto the 1st house of health. You could have mishaps, accidents here. Once again, you'll sort them, but you could avoid them by maximizing concentration when you are exercising on the move physically. And Mongala's aspect to the 9th and the 12th house, you could be traveling also during this period. If you are traveling, especially into distant lands, 12th house, 9th house, take it easy. Give yourself plenty of time to deal with delays and disruptions. Listen to what I said at the beginning of the video. But generally, because Mongol is so well placed, you will deal with these. They won't upset you too much. For students among you, anybody studying now, you've had some real difficulty during the last few months for sure. You've not been understanding the course. You've been feeling agitated. You've been feeling on edge. Mongol moving into 6th house, aspecting the 9th house. You ask all the right questions, you get the answers you need. Time alone studying is definitely going to be very beneficial during this Mongol Gemini transit. It's a good time to up your fitness level. Mongol's aspect onto the 1st house of your body. You can definitely get yourself fitter, stronger, and healthier during this 6th house transit, but have care. You must have high concentration when you are exercising. Check what I said at the beginning of the video. Aquarius Moon, Aquarius Ascendant, Mars is not a friend to your Lord. Shani or Rahu, he is sometimes a distraction from your purpose. When Mangala goes into the 5th house of your chart, be cautious especially because Mangala is not happy in these Trikone houses. They are difficult placements. Aquarius Moon Ascendant, have caution in everything you decide, everything you do until Mongala leaves this sign of Gemini. Next transit, by the way, is very favorable to you. So just hang on until May to make those most important decisions. The problem is that for Aquarians, though, Mongol, when he's in the 5th house in a fellow earth sign, Gemini, puts you in a risk-taking mood. You're not listening to advice. You're just going on steady ahead because you feel like taking a risk. You feel like doing something different during this transit. Now, especially you become very egotistical during this time. You're not listening to anybody's advice at all. You're just pushing ahead. You could take financial changes now which are not good long term. Be cautious making too many business changes now. Be cautious in any financial risk taking, speculative gain. Mars aspects stock market house, but it also aspects the house of loss. However, it could be good if you are doing financial dealings in your family circle, with your family business, some of you, as long as you are not doing them off your own back. That's the thing. Take advice of your networks. Take advice of your family. Why? Because Mercury, Lord of the sign, is in the second house with Jupiter. You may get inheritance, wills, legacies, financial bonus even during this time, some of you, by this aspect to the 8th house. It's a highly sociable time. Lots of people coming and going. Social life goes into overdrive, definitely. Some of you, this can be exciting, but it isn't too good for students. Not because of all the socializing, but because Mangala destroys a house behind himself, education, and he's in the house of learning. You are not digesting learning properly. You are skipping things. You are not doing it as you know you should with the full concentration. Try to get some time alone for some private study. It will benefit you during this time if you are a student. Now, although general education can be difficult now, academic education, normal education process, occult study is excellent. Mangala rules these things. He is the natural 8th house lord, and he has aspecting 8th house and 12th house. If you are studying occult study, astrology, you will get the most incredible insights during this Mangala 5th house transit. Mangala is your 3rd house lord of sexual attraction, by the way, and he's gone into the 5th house of romance. I'll just leave it there. If you are seeking new romantic attraction, they may come to you, but Mangala is not easy for these things, so starting off new romance now might be very difficult. For Pisces, Moon and Ascendant. Now, Mars has been excellent for you during the long transit in Taurus. Although it's put a lot of pressure on you mentally, it's actually got things done in your world. And you've moved forward on many fronts since October 2022. But now that Mangala is in a Kendra house, you have to make definite decisions, particularly about financial factors, sorting out finances, sorting out home. Some of you thinking about moving now. It mightn't be actually happening now. Some of you maybe, possibly, but generally it's about future aspirations. Where do you want to live? How do you want your home arranged? Definite changes have to be made. There's certainly family changes happening and difficulty with your spouse. Mars has a 4th aspect onto the house of spouse. Now, Mars has a controlling factor by this 4th aspect. You're trying to take control of the domestic scene, and if you live with a partner, live with spouse, there's going to be definite contention. You're trying to take control of it, but you could be going a little bit over the top here. It could cause definite contention in your relationship during the next few weeks. But don't worry, spouse will come round to your way of thinking. How do we know? Because Mercury, lord of your spouse and partner, is about to go into your sign Pisces, where your lord Jupiter is there. So spouse will come round to your way. After the difficult first few days of this transit, you will get agreement about domestic situation, financial situation, and it will be actually very good. Some of you may even be getting married in this period. So generally then it's a good period for domestic change and romantic and marital factors, but it is difficult in the workplace. Mangala aspects 10th house and 11th house. Don't be too pushy. Don't get into quarrels, contention with the boss. You're not happy with the way things are, but now is not the right time to change it. You're not happy with the situation in the workplace, definitely. It's very demanding of you, too demanding at this time. And there are changes happening in your network circles, friendship circles, and colleague network circles also. If you are a business person also, you are tempted to do something different, do something new because of Mars aspect onto the marketplace house and the actual house of gain. Take it easy. You may make a precipitous action during this time. Things are not quite what they seem. Listen to the beginning of the video again if you missed it. So reduce assertion in your work colleague and network circles as well. You could have quarrels, contentions, misunderstandings with many people outside of your home place as well during this time. Keep your thoughts to yourself. It's not an easy time to make big career changes. Hold fire if you can. The point is you're feeling very assertive during this transit. You're feeling a little bit bossy in many areas of your life, at your workplace, with your friends. Try to tone this down to make the best of this transit. Concentrate on the home, on the domestic scene, and on your personal relationships. Check out all the other important transits happening right now, including the important transit of Saturn in Aquarius. All the videos are on your screen right now. If you're new to my channel, don't forget to sub below. Goodbye for now. God bless everyone.